The world of enduro is on the rise, with multiple bike companies competing for your hard-earned cash. So if you fancy a crack at this exciting discipline, here are 5 2015 bikes that caught our eye. It'd be difficult to make a list of top enduro bikes and overlook the Cannondale Jekyll. Used to devastating effect by top racer and human Jerome Clements, the Jekyll makes use of characteristically wacky Cannondale design to deliver superlative performance. This high-spec model comes with a full carbon frame, new lefty Supermax fork and the now standard 650B wheel. But we were more interested in the Dyad rear shock, which is essentially 2 shocks that can be switched from a handlebar remote. This instantly adjusts the travel from 95 to 160mm. The Jekyll's looks might not be for everyone, but we rather like it. Canyon have a reputation for producing high-end bikes at relatively affordable prices, and the new Strive CF puts a radical enduro spin on that tradition. Not content to sit back and let Fox do all the work, Canyon's proprietary shapeshifter linkage does clever things with geometry and travel. In climbing mode, the Strive allows itself a scant 130mm of rear wheel travel, but a quick press of the bar remote relaxes the geometry by 1.5 degrees and accesses a full 160mm of descending goodness. Is it any good? Fabien Barel seems to think so, and if it's good enough for him, well, you get the picture. Canyon are offering both the Alley and Carbon Strive in a wide range of specs and finishes, but we couldn't take our eyes off this team edition as written by Joe Barnes. The Lapierre Spicy is a weapon of choice for possibly the greatest gravity racer of all time, Nicolas Fouliez. Rolling on 650B and featuring a 160mm fork and 150mm rear shock, it's pretty much standard enduro fare, including a 2015 obligatory variable suspension platform. Developed in partnership with RockShox, the big difference is that the EI system uses compression and cadence sensors to interpret the terrain and dynamically tune the shock to suit. You can run it in full automatic or switch to a manual mode if you're old school. The system isn't new for 2015, but it's been refined by way of a simpler and more crash-resistant brain as well as a more reliable battery. If you're after a more classic design, then the Rocky Mountain Altitude may be the bike for you. The BC-based company have a reputation for producing solid bikes for hardcore riders, so the Altitude should handle anything you can throw at it. The suspension appears simple, but the clever smoothing system does an allegedly great job of reducing pedal bob and bottom outs, without the need for fancy electronics or gizmos. Rocky Mountain offer further tunability through their Ride 9 technology, which enables riders to switch the bike's geometry and suspension rates via an insert located at the rear shock. So, actually not all that classic then, but still very cool. Finally, the SB5C, which at first glance looks like most other Yetis. Turquoise, curvy and achingly pretty. But look a little closer and you'll notice some interesting things happening at the rear. Developed in conjunction with Fox, the Switch Infinity system uses rails to manipulate wheel path and shock rates, keeping the back end in check over almost any terrain and gradient. That's the theory anyway. It's seriously clever stuff, and by all accounts, it works well too. Enduro World Series winner Jared Greaves actually rides the slightly beefier SB6C, but we think the SB5C, used by the talented and brilliantly named Richie Rude, will have wider application for the average rider. You've been watching BikeRadar. We're adding new videos all the time, so don't forget to click subscribe and let us know what you'd like to see more of in the comments below.